I'm Spencer Mathis, and in today's Athlete Spotlight video, I'll be talking with Nicole Klucharich, an outside hitter for the Mountain Lions volleyball team. Nicole currently leads the team in points and kills this season and has been named Mountain Lion of the Week once. In today's video, we will get an in-depth view of what Nicole's interests are outside of volleyball. Nicole, you're having a huge season on the court for the Mountain Lions volleyball team this year, and you're from St. Augustine, Florida. Your first college stop was Juniata College, and then you came to the mountains in Young Harris. Talk about the transition from St. Augustine to Juniata in Pennsylvania and then to the mountains in North Georgia.
Sure. So yeah, I'm from St. Augustine, and I knew that I wanted to play for just a really good volleyball program, so I went to go play for one of the top Division III schools in the nation, and it just wasn't really a good fit. I was really far from home, struggled with a couple of family issues at the time, and then so I just looked for a better place for me, and Young Harris was that. I had a couple of friends that brought me back here, and I've just had a great time ever since.
And now moving on to zone number 2. You've been playing volleyball for 11 years now. How did you first get into the sport, and when did you know that this was a sport that you wanted to stick with?
Yeah, so I started playing when I was 12 years old in 6th grade. I played travel softball and was just starting up volleyball at the time. A lot of people really pushed volleyball because I was so tall. And then I did a lot of clinics, camps at JJVA, my club back in Jacksonville, and I just fell in love with the sport. I love like the fast pace, like high energy. I just love all of that, and so I decided when I was about midway through high school that I wanted to pursue it in college, and I would never ever regret the decision I made to play in college. I think being a student athlete is an opportunity that should never be taken for granted. I love the lifestyle, and I'm just so happy here.
And moving on to zone number 3 now. Again, your first college stop was Juniata College in Pennsylvania, and you are a huge Philadelphia sports fan. So talk about your first year in Juniata, or your only year in Juniata, and then what pushed you really the most to move to Young Harris College in the mountains?
Yeah, so when I was living in PA, I was close to some of my extended family, which was so fun. And yes, being a big Philly sports fan, I got to go to a lot of games when I was there with family. But again, the program didn't really fit me very well, and I was looking to be a little bit closer to home, a little bit warmer weather too. And so Young Harris just drew me in from a lot of my teammates that I had played with back at JJVA, Lily, Molly. They were like, you know, the family environment here is awesome. A lot of the same culture and atmosphere that was at Juniata is here with the community coming to the games. I know Coach is really big into pickleball, and all of her pickleball community friends, and we've just explored, like shown our love for the game with them. We've shared it, and I just love that. And being here in the mountains, it's very different than like where I'm from in St. Augustine at the beach, but I've really liked the change. It's something that I feel like a lot of people don't get to experience in college, and just moving away for 4 years has been great.
And speaking of team camaraderie, as we move on to zone number 4, you've been playing with mainly the same women for the last 3 years, and the team camaraderie is great here. It's maybe bar none with the other teams in this college. Talk about playing with the same women for 3 years, and also your relationship with Lily Hidalgo.
Yeah, so we have 8 seniors this year who have been through the program at least 3 or 4 years, and we are just such a close-knit group. I mean, I consider all of these girls my best friends, and I think this year we have the best team chemistry, not only on the court, but also off of the court. We focus so much on team bonding. We have weekly devotionals with one of the community members, and it really just brings us closer together when we are playing. And you talk about Lily, so I've been playing with her since I was 16. She's from St. Simons, Georgia. I'm from Jacksonville, so we live about an hour and a half apart, and she was one that I feel like I started my volleyball career with, and now I'm ending my volleyball career with, so our relationship is just so special, and I think we went through the recruiting process together. We have gone through now 3 years here at Young Harris together, and I just cherish our bond so much. I'm actually living with her this year, so she is just one special girl that is going to be my best friend forever.
Awesome. And moving on to zone number 5, your main interest is sports, from playing in matches to watching your favorite Philly fans or Philly teams lose, of course. Sorry about that, but And your main interest coming out of college will be to get into the sports journalism world. And you've had a ton of internship opportunities so far, from Young Harris College to the Jacksonville Sharks and then to the Iron Pigs, the AAA affiliate of the Phillies. Talk about how you got those internship opportunities, and also elaborate on how other people could get those for the people that are really interested in going into sports journalism.
Sure. So yeah, 2 summers ago, I worked for the Jacksonville Sharks, which is arena football, and I was a multimedia intern there. So I helped out with the social media pages. I did pre-game and post-game interviews with head coaches and the athletes themselves.
That's awesome.
Which that was my first like really dive into like multimedia journalism. I knew a lot about football, not a lot about arena football, so that was really interesting, like learning a whole new sport like that. And then this past summer, I did work for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. So just to jump into that, it was super surreal to work for a team that I've been growing up following for my whole life.
That is awesome.
A lot of those guys go back and forth with the Phillies and the Iron Pigs, so just being able to like talk to them, have like daily conversations was so crazy, and I couldn't believe that I was like working and doing that as my job. And I just really like developed a love for baseball like I didn't have before, like going to the ballpark every day. I was a marketing promotions intern, so I did a lot of this stuff like pre-game, post-game, like mid-inning hits with the mic, doing like play ball before the game starts, that kind of stuff. And I just was able to share my love for sports comm with like 10,000 that they got every day.
That's more than Tropicana Field. That's more than the race hit.
That AAA organization is just one of the best with getting fans, and I learned a lot from like a top-down perspective of how a really good organization draws in fans, able to just on the baseball side things too, like how players go up and down with like agency and contracts. It was just such a crazy experience that I absolutely love. And then here at Young Harris, obviously I do a lot of work in SID, like writing the game articles, post-game interviews. So I just suggest to anybody that wants to get into sports comm or journalism to go out and put themselves out there, create a resume, do like the Jacksonville Sharks internship that I did was unpaid, so obviously that wasn't great. But
you do have to put in the work to get into.
And it's just the experience that matters. And now I have like 3 solid experiences that I can use hopefully to get myself a full-time role in December. So.
And then for the hardest hitting question, if you had to pick one, would you much rather work in baseball or in football down in the future?
I would say baseball. I think going to the ballpark every single day was just so special. I think football, it's a lot of office work during the week and then like one big game day, but the environment of going to the ballpark every single day is just like no other. So
that's awesome. And as we move on to zone number 6, you have traveled to many places for volleyball in your career, from Puerto Rico to Costa Rica to Greece. Elaborate on first the trip that you had with Molly Lawrence to Greece over the beginning of this year.
Yeah, that was my best experience ever. Not only just playing volleyball in a different country was so fun and something I will remember for the rest of my life. It was my first time in Europe, but Molly and I have been playing together since we were 16 as well. So her and I have been really close, and we got the opportunity to go on this trip to Greece. We went over there for just under 2 weeks, and we played in a couple of tournaments just with other Greece teams, and it was some of the things you normally think about is like the language barrier. So when we were playing, you're used to hearing the same like play calls, sets on the other side of the net, and the things coming out of their mouth, not even English.
Yes.
So it was really hard. It was actually harder to play the game itself, but just an experience like no other to hear that on the other side of the net. And they were saying hello, but after the game, like we couldn't really.
Yeah, so it was harder to communicate with the teammates and kind of have the same camaraderie that you do here.
For sure, but the day-to-day there looked like, so we'd either play matches in the morning and then sightsee at night, or the reverse of sightsee in the morning and then play at night. So I got to do a lot of cool things, the Acropolis, all like the normal like Greece, like going to Athens, stuff like that. But I think it's so cool how we were able to play the sport we love so much here and see how it's played globally.
Thank you very much. That was Nicole Klucharich. Be sure to catch her as their season winds down here at the Young Harris College Volleyball Court at the Harp Recreation and Commencement Center.